Video walk on Coachmen Freedom Express used. We'll start in the back. Looks like the previous owners installed this PVC pipe to store their sewer hose in, and you can store it in through here. But your bumper caps on these bumpers also come off, and that's also a good spot to store a sewer hose. So if you have more than one hoses, now you have plenty of spot to store it. Right here you got your switch for your stabilizer jacks in the back. In the interest of saving time, we won't go all the way. But keep in mind, these are stabilizer jacks. They are not leveling jacks. Do not use these to try to pick up the back of the camper to get it level. If you want your trailer to be level, use your tongue jack to get front to back level. And then as you're backing into your campground, backing in onto some tires, back your tires onto some blocks to get it level side to side. You got storage through here. Goes all the way through. Got your fresh tank fill. This is where you're going to fill your onboard fresh tank. Just take this off. Rest your hose in there. Don't overfill it. When you see water escape from around there, you know you're full. I don't like it to get to that point. I like to monitor its progress on the inside monitoring panel. And then your drain for your fresh tank is that valve right there. Water heater, super simple to use. The only thing you'll have to do when you get this, thread your plug in. 15/16 is the socket size. I use a little short socket with an extension and a ratcheting wrench. Get it started by hand, snug it down with my wrench. I don't over tighten it. You don't want to strip these threads out. Once you got the plug in, as soon as you hook up water, whether it be pulling from your pump, from your fresh tank, or from city water pressure from your city water, it's going to automatically fill your water heater. Once it's filled, you're able to kick it on. Now, I definitely recommend draining it after every trip. So if you were using it for a whole week and then you guys aren't going to go camping again for another month, you don't want that water sitting in there. It'll start to get stagnant. So, before you drain it, before you pull your plug out to drain it, you want to crack your pressure relief. Water's going to squirt out of there. That's fine. Once water stops squirting out, snap it closed, and then you're good to take your drain plug out. If you neglect to do this first and you try taking this plug out, there's a lot of pressure in that tank, and there's definitely a lot of pressure if it was on, because the hot water will expand, building pressure. So make sure you relieve your pressure first, or else you're gonna get a hot bath. You might even lose that plug. And then make sure you clean in here and then in here quite regularly. Keep sawdust or any debris, anything that would accumulate in there out. Outdoor shower, hot and cold. You have a TV and cable hookup? Nope. And then that's if you're camping on something that provides cable, you can hook it up to there. Not a lot of places still provide cable, but if your site has it, you hook it up to there and you'll be able to watch cable. And then city water connection. This is where you hook your hose up if you're going to be running off of city water pressure. So you won't need to run your pump if you're running city water. Short cord, it's your short cord, 30 amp. It's built into this unit. There's no way you can lose it. The only way you lose it is if you try to pull your camper away from your trip and you forgot you were unplugged. It's going to rip it out the wall. And then right below that, got your sewer area. So, gray tank, black tank. The gray tank's the smaller one. Black tank is your toilet water, gray tank's everything else. Definitely recommend making sure your valves are all the way closed before you take your cap off. And then I always dump my black tank first, wait for that to get completely empty. Once it's all the way empty, then I do the gray. That'll flush out the hose, so I don't have to carry around a hose with black tank water in it. Moving along. Pass-through storage up front. Right here's got a lot of good information. Most important one, 50 PSI right there. Do that number, not what's printed on your tires. It'll be a different number. That's the number that they want you to have it at. And then you have your cargo carrying capacity, your dry weight, your VIN, how much a full load of water equals. So that's good information too right here. Right over here you have a Group 24 RV Marine Grade battery. New battery. In the winter, I recommend taking the battery out, storing it somewhere warmer than it being outside, maybe your garage or even your basement. And that's going to keep the harsh winter from ruining this battery. If it's going to be a long time between trips, I recommend disconnecting the negative lead off your battery to keep anything from using it when you're not around. Dual 30-pound cylinders. We'll turn those off for now. We did fill them for you. Actually, take this off, a lot easier to show. Go. They're 30-pound cylinders right here with your automatic changeover regulator. So wherever that green dot is pointing, that's the tank it's going to pull from first. If that one were to get depleted, it's going to automatically switch to pulling from the other tank. However, this doesn't rotate, indicating it's switched to what tank it's pulling from. So keep that in the back of your mind. You might be halfway through this tank and you're still thinking you're pulling from that tank. So just keep that in mind. And then some people think having it in the middle like that is going to split the tanks equally. Nope, it's one or the other. Power tongue jack with a little light up front. B10 cranking every day of the week. This is what you're going to use to get your trailer level front to back. And you got your chains. You'd cross them when you tow. You got a breakaway right here. This will get hooked up with your truck if you tow it. And then your 7-way right here that does your lights and your brakes on the trailer from your truck. Coming here, other side of that storage, you got some cranks. This will be a manual backup crank for your stabilizer jack. The other one will be for your tongue jack and your slide out. Got your other switch for your front stabilizers. Again, they're not leveling jacks. Do not try to use them to pick up the trailer to level it. You get your trailer level first, and then you use these jacks just to stabilize it, to get this shake out of everything. Exhaust for your furnace. Keep it clear from any debris. They do make screens you can put on these. They don't recommend you running with the screen on, but I've seen people do it all the time. It's really good for if you're towing it, keeping road debris out, or when you're storing it, keeping insects from getting in there and building up nests. Got a slide out drawer on the outside with plenty of storage in it. You can slide that close. Actually, and don't keep in mind they still have to clean this. We're just getting this video walk recorded early so we can be ahead of the game. So when you get this trailer, it'll be a lot cleaner than what you see right now. Exterior fridge vent. That's just for airflow for the fridge. There's an exhaust on the roof, again, just for airflow to keep the cooling unit cool. Clean up here often, and then I even recommend taking this off, cleaning back there a couple times a year. Got your exterior range vent. If you're going to use your range hood, make sure you pop that open so when you run the fan, it actually has somewhere to vent it to. And then when you're traveling, close them up. Alto power. It's GFCI protected. All your GFCIs are on the same circuit. If one's going to trip, they're all going to trip. You got a resettable GFCI here. This may or may not be on its own circuit. Sometimes they have 2 resettable GFCIs and only 1 resets for itself. Sometimes they're in the bathroom and that's where you reset it. So as we go along, we can learn more. But as of right now, if any GFCI trips, this is the outlet you reset it at, and that could change as I go in. Lights set up here, so you can see out here. Then a mini fridge. This works just like your standard mini fridge. It's not going to be like an RV fridge where you can run it off of propane. This will only work when you're plugged in. All right, that concludes our exterior tour. We can head our way onto the inside. And we'll start by opening the slide out, which you do from right here. When you hear that noise, that means your slide out is opened. So, next to your slide out is your awning controls. It does not stop automatically when it's out. You'll have to physically let go of the switch when it's out. When you see the bare tube, and then let's get that flap. There we go. When you see the flap hanging, then you're good. That's all the way up. And now sometimes when they stay rolled up for a long time, like this one was, the flap kind of conforms to the shape of the awning. Let it out a little bit, then kind of relax. They are adjustable for pitch. So you just make sure these are loose. Grab the arm, slide it, and you can see how it goes in and out. Then you retighten that knob, and that's going to allow one end to be slightly lower than the other. So if it is raining a little bit, you can have water pitch off to the corner rather than all the way along the edge. If it does start storming really bad, roll your awning back up. You don't want a gust of wind or heavy rain to ruin it. Then if you roll it in wet, as soon as you get the chance to, roll it back out when it starts getting sunny again to let it dry off, let the moisture get out of it. Because you don't want it to roll it up, you don't want it to hold moisture, because else it'll get streaky. Alright, so that's it for those two switches there. You do have some switches up here. The switch on the right does the main row of lights. The one on the left will do your amber light on the outside. Let's get this back on. Then right below everything, your breaker box has all your breakers for your 110 volt appliances, all your fuses for your 12 volts. So you have all 15s, a 5, you have 15s, a 5, and 2 40s. I just recommend carrying some spare fuses just in case something would have happened. You'll have something to fall back on. Alright, we'll come over here. Your bedroom. Super simple. Lights above there. You got speakers in here. Plenty of space on either side. These doors, when you use them, they don't really lock closed, but they lock open. Unsnap them. Slide the door closed. Get you some privacy in here. Just make sure when you're traveling. Drop something out of my pocket. Just make sure when you're traveling, you latch these open so they're not swinging everywhere. Same deal on this side. You have an outlet down there, and then your emergency window. Super simple to use. Lift up. You can. Oh wow. There you go. You can have it set like that. If there is an actual emergency, you would push this all the way out. Grab it right here, pull the screen off, and then jump out the window. You have a TV in here. Got your remote for your TV, and then you have a remote for your radio, which I think is also a... Nope. I am incorrect. I do think your TV is a 12-volt TV, though. Looks like it is. Yep. Radio. Go down here. Super simple. You get a power button. You can do auxiliary right here, so you can go in through auxiliary, AV in right there. Your different zones. Let's see if we can actually get to the radio. AM, FM, there we go.
Car payment, actually.
So zone C is inside. So zone C is your bedroom. Zone B is those speakers in the slide out. And then zone A is outside. So bedroom, inside, outside. This is a DVD player, so you can pop a DVD in there. Watch a DVD on your TV. Change it to the right channel. It'll be the AV channel because it's not an HD DVD player. And then you have different features. Push and hold these to save presets. You also have your pause and play features for DVDs on here. Mute, you can switch between DVD and USB for your own music, or if you've got a DVD in there. Your tuner right here, twist to tune. Very simple. Hit power back off, and then you can do all of that except changing your zones from your remote. Well, here you got your booster for your antenna, so if you're watching TV off your antenna, make sure this is on. If not, turn it off. Yep. And then previous owners have this USB outlet thing right here, and we're to leave that in there for you. Microwave, super simple. It's gonna work like your normal microwave, nothing camper special about it. It's only gonna work when you're plugged in. Previous owners have this clamp and this cooktop. Right here you can move it, which is nice, gives you extra space. You could also use it as a cutting board. Super simple to use. Your cooktop, turn it to light, push it in. As you're pushing it in, light the burner you want to use with a match or barbecue lighter. Then the oven works a little bit similarly. Turn this, push it to pilot. Like that. As you're pushing that in on a pilot, if you look down in there, there is a pilot you have to manually light. Use a barbecue lighter. That's easiest because it's longer. Once you get that pilot to light, then you can change it to whatever temperature you want to cook on. If you plan on cooking again in a few hours and you don't want to have to relight that pilot again, if you turn it off and turn it to pilot on instead of all the way off, it shuts the burners off but leaves that pilot on. But I definitely recommend unplugging it before you go to bed. Not unplugging it, excuse me. Turning the pilot off because you don't want a lit pilot overnight just in case something were to happen. Fridge, super simple. Has 2 buttons, on or off, auto or gas. So that's gas, that's auto. Just recommend leaving on auto. Auto is going to default to 110. So if that's what it senses it's got, that's what it's going to run on. But if someone were to trip over your short cord or this campground would lose power, it's going to automatically switch to running off of propane. These do take about 10 to 12 hours. Depending on the temperature outside, you can do anywhere from 8 to 10, 10 to 12 hours to get to operating temperature. So if you can have the opportunity to plug it in the night before at home, you can do that. Let it get cold, and then you can have it going down the road on propane. That way it's cold when you get there. Or even if you can, plug it in the night before at the campground, and then come back the next day, get ready to use it. Thermostat controls right here. So you could do cool, off, furnace. Oops. Then you have fan, auto, or on, and then high or low. Auto is going to regulate whatever temperature you have it set on. So if you're running cool and you had it set to 65, once it hits 65, the AC will shut off, and then it'll cycle back on once it senses it's dropped. Once it's gotten, once it's gone above 65 degrees, AC will kick back on, and then it'll cycle on and off to help regulate that 65 degrees. Similar deal with the furnace. Now, if you just had it on and you had it set to 65, once your AC hits 65, it's still going to continue to run. It won't shut off. The reason I don't recommend doing it that way is because if it keeps running, eventually the AC will freeze up, and if it freezes up, it'll shut off, and then you have to wait for it to thaw out before you can run it again. And the easiest way to let it thaw out is just to run it on a higher temperature, set it up higher. Hopefully that'll kick it on, or you just have to wait. You'll have to wait for it to thaw out. Now, if it's hot out, it won't take long. A few more things in here. Table does turn into your bed. Lift the table up, pop them legs out, rest the table on these shelves right here. Take these back cushions right here, lay them across. That'll create a platform you can sleep on. It'll fit 1, maybe 2 people comfortably. Alright. This right over here turns into a bed as well. It's a jackknife couch lip underneath. You got some storage underneath. Lift up, lay it flat. That'll fit 1 person. Coming back to over here, back to the kind of where we started. Got your antenna. So crank up. Very easy to which way direction you go to up. Once it's up, you can pull this down and twist it to adjust, like tune in a signal. However, before you lower it, you want these 2 triangles to be lined up because there's a little cradle on the roof that it needs to sit in, so it sits the right way on the roof. If it's not lined up and you lower it, the antenna could be poking out the side. It could be facing the wrong way around. So just make sure those triangles are lined up when you lower it. Looks like right here, previous owners rigged up a lighting system here. Looks like the lights are actually gone. Actually, oh, they're up there. All right. So you plug this in here. Oh, look. Got some lights up there. Some blue LEDs. Now they're not actually blinking. It's just that LEDs tend to stutter like that on camera. But you got a remote for them right here. So you can turn it off or on. And then you have like different colors. You can do it at. You can have it set to flash, change color, strobe, fade, all that. You can change the brightness of it too. Off on this remote. Just remember though, when you close your slide out, you got this plugged in here. I recommend unplugging it and then unplugging this, setting it aside. Then actually I would just leave it plugged in here if you want those lights. But here's the remote for that. We will actually put the remote for the LED lights by the slide out. We'll do it. Oh, looks like people still have their stuff in here. Don't worry, this will all get cleaned out before you get it. We'll put the remote for all the LED lights in this drawer to the left of the oven. Come in here, your bathroom. So this will be the resetting outlet that if any of the GFCIs would have tripped, this is the outlet you come and reset it at. Bathroom, super simple. Hot and cold in your shower. To divert it to your shower head, just pull up on this. It diverts the water to your shower head. In your toilet, as long as you're pushing this pedal, it'll flush. And then you do have your light in here, as well as a fan vent and a fan. I recommend running that when you take a hot shower. Just keep the moisture off the walls. Right over here, got your monitoring panel. You can do black, fresh, black, and gray. Sorry, battery, fresh, black, and gray. Battery is always going to read full when you're plugged in. So if you want a true reading off your battery, make sure unplug it, and that'll tell you. And now that's not the most accurate as putting like a multimeter on your battery, but it's pretty close. You have your controls for your water pump, and then your water heater on gas and electric. You can run electric and gas at the same time. However, if you are going to run electric, make sure that you have water in the water heater, or else you're going to toast that heating element. Come back in here. You got 3 different bunks, which is nice. Another emergency exit works the same way as the one in the bedroom. Then you have a spot for a TV you can put on the shelf right here. You got a GFCI outlet right there, and then a cable outlet for it right there. As well as a ladder to climb up on that bunk. Unfortunately, this one does not have a ladder. So whichever kid you have that can climb, that's the best at climbing, have them on that bunk. And then each bunk does have a 220-pound capacity. All right. That concludes the video walk on your used Coachmen. I hope you guys found this video to be informative. I hope you guys get lots of good use out of this trailer, and goodbye.